You alright folks, welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's been a wee while since I uploaded a video. It's been a busy couple of weeks, a lot of stuff going on, so I just haven't got round to videoing and uploading stuff. But Mental Health Awareness Week is coming up here in May, and I intend in around that week to be uploading a lot of content onto YouTube for you guys, so you can hear and see my opinions on mental health. This video today is purely based on mental health, and in particular depression. A lot of people who follow me, the Bear Strong brand is obviously all about mental health and mental health support for everyone, and you know, it's something that I try to talk often about, and why my YouTube isn't filled with constant videos on mental health is I spend a lot of time doing seminars and talks on mental health, and whenever I do it, I like it to be very raw and a very close insight to tell my story, and I like it to be honest. I don't like bullshitting people who have paid to come and see me or have paid to have me doing a talk. I like to give them everything I can in that time. So doing my talks and doing my seminars can be quite difficult regards as to how you feel after it, because obviously you've talked about a very dark and a very low time in your life, so afterwards it can be quite hard to just walk out of that building, that school, whatever it is, and feel on top of the world. It is an amazingly rewarding job, and you do walk out on quite a high afterwards, but you've also took yourself into a low because of what you're talking about, if that makes sense. You know, going back and talking about depression and talking about suicide and the effects that my suicide attempt had on myself and had on other people, it's quite a hard thing to do. So yeah, that's why obviously my YouTube hasn't been dominated that much recently about mental health, and that is sort of why, to be honest. There will always be loads of mental health stuff putting up, but I just couldn't sit down in front of a camera constantly talking about mental health problems and depression and anxiety. Not if I was going to do it right. You know, I could come on and blow a lot of fucking smoke around it and not talk from the heart, and it wouldn't be the content I want to give you guys. You know, talking from the heart and talking personally, it's hard to do, and I just can't sit in front of a camera every night and, you know, bare my soul and not have it affect my mental health. So what I want to talk about today is that's a question I get asked a lot. How did you beat depression? How did you overcome depression? And every time I hear that question given to me, I sort of cringe a wee bit, you know, or maybe wince a wee bit is a better word, because in my opinion, I don't think you can ever beat depression. If you're the type of person who has suffered with depression, I believe that you can't beat it, you can't cure it, but you can learn to manage it, you can learn to become stronger, and you can learn to stay above it, but it will always be there. And anybody who I've talked with, worked with, shared stories with regards depression is in the exact same category. They may be living better, healthier, happier lives now. They may be in a good place, but they know they haven't beat it. They know it's still there, it's still inside them, and they know if they don't stay on top of it, that it'll come back and it'll take over again. And it's something that I'm very aware about all the time. It's why I try to avoid negativity, negative people, being in negative situations, because I worry about my own mental health, and I don't want to go back to the way things used to be. But it's something that is always underlying and always there, and I hate to give people the impression that there's a quick fix, there's a way of curing it, there's a way of getting better. You know, whether it's counselling, medication, all them things can help you get better, but it'll never 100% leave you. You know, slipping back into depression is so easy to do, and if you can get stronger, get better, and get happy, that's brilliant. And along that way, if you realise and you come to terms with the things that are triggers for bringing you down, you can learn to avoid them going forward in the future. I get sent a lot of messages and stuff on Instagram, and mostly on Instagram, with Snapchat and stuff. And a lot of people would ask that question, you know, how are you so happy now? How'd you beat depression? And I even get messages from people saying how jealous they are of my life, and they wish they could live my life. And you know, I see that, and I'm just like, no, you don't want this life. Like, honestly, it's not. I think that's one thing that social media can be a negative thing about. It doesn't exactly show you my life for my life. You know, normally when you're on Instagram, like, I'm not going to sit and show you videos or Snapchats or pictures of me paying bills or me working all day. You know, me getting stressed out, the shit I go through. I'm not going to upload that onto my Instagram, and like, it's not because I'm hiding anything. Like, genuinely, I don't hide anything from any of you guys. It's just as boring as fuck. You know, like, I'm hardly going to put up a video going, so, you know, 5:30 in the morning, got up to take an hour class, you know, or sitting down, paying more bills, you know, like, it's boring stuff, and like, nobody wants to see that there. And like, I'm genuinely not hiding that aspect of my life, but I do understand how, like, all the highs, you know, get highlighted on Instagram, and on my stories and stuff. You know, when I go out for a meal, obviously you take pictures of the meal and you upload it to your story, and when you're going places with, you know, you upload it, and when you're on holiday, obviously that's a great time for uploading stuff, and people see all these highlights, they don't see the low. And like, you know, the past couple of weeks, as for me, I went back into a bit of a rut, and I'm only starting to pick myself back out of that now. And like, I just felt myself going back into depression again, where I didn't want to get out of bed, I didn't want to work, I didn't want to train, I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be near anybody. I just wanted to sit in the house, you know, away from everyone. And that's sort of the way, that's the way I sort of go whenever I start to get down. I just sort of go into hibernation type of thing, where all energy, motivation, fucking everything is just a hassle to do. You know, I don't give in, you know, I still get up, if there's a client booked in, if there's a class booked in, if I know I need to be at the gym, I get up, I go, I'm there, I make the effort, but straight afterwards you just crawl back into your hole again, and you just get away from it all. And you know, it's amazing that the past few weeks I've definitely been a struggle in my own head, but it's amazing, you know, and nobody would ever know, because face to face with people, I still laugh, I still crack, and then it's literally the minute you turn your back from that person, you go from a smile to just straight face again. I know it seems fake, but it's not fake, because like, you know, you're trying to be happy, you're not being two-faced, you know, you're trying to have a laugh, you're trying to find things funny, you're trying to lift your mood, and you're trying to see a face. You know, you don't want to be sitting there like, you know, looking down or bringing other people down with you, you know. And that's why I always make the effort. And like, even whenever I tell a lot of people about the time I was in my lowest place, people who were around me at that time, they can't believe it. You know, people who seen me days before, you know, I took a suicide attempt, and they can't believe that I was that bad at that time. And so many people, especially men, are guilty of that. You know, we are awful for clouding over and hiding over how we're actually feeling, but I just hate the attention of it. I hate people asking me if I'm okay, and I know that's, you know, that people should always do that. You know what I mean? And the people should always continue to do that to me, even I don't like it, because one day I might turn around and say no, I'm not. One day it could have been the right time to ask that question, and I could be like, no, I'm not. And you know, I don't like hearing it or getting asked it, because it always puts you into this awkward conversation, and you have to talk about your feelings, because I'm not good at talking about my feelings. Like, even after all this time working on mental health, I'm not good at talking about it. I don't like fucking talking about it. But I feel okay in that, because I feel I'm strong enough to look after myself. There was a time I definitely wasn't, and there was a time that I definitely should have talked about it. And I know whenever I get to that stage now, I'm like, I need to go chat to somebody, you know, and I do. And I'm smart enough to do that now, you know, I don't let it go that far. But these are all things I've learned for having depression for a long, long time. People who are experiencing depression for the first time will not know this. They'll not know when's the right time to talk. They'll not know when they're in different stages of depression, and when it's getting really bad and when it's going to be okay. You know, and people who are at that stage should just straight off the bat, like, please, like, if I have learned anything all these years, and the best thing, and I know it's so fucking cheesy because it's in all the leaflets and all the rest of it, and it's all quoted in different ways, but the best thing you can do is to start talking, because when you start talking, it helps so fucking much, and you'll feel that it won't. You'll feel it's a waste of time talking. You'll feel that it's just, there's no point in talking, because people are only going to say certain things, but it does massively, massively help. So I'm not being cheesy, I'm not being fucking, you know, these mental health one-liners, but get out there and talk, like, because talking, it will help. And a lot of people struggle to talk to people who are close to them. And I guess I would still and have done. And it's not because you're not, obviously you're not, it's not because you're not close to that person. It's the closeness to that person that makes you not want to talk to them. You know, you don't like sharing a burden, or you don't like seeming weak in front of somebody you're close to. For men, I know in a lot of cases men feel that they don't need to burden their partners, their wives, whatever, because they should be the stronger one, and they don't like to show that vulnerability. But if that's the case, that's dead on. But there's plenty of professionals out there to talk to. There's plenty of counsellors out there to talk to. And I guarantee if you sit down with your mate and you talk to your mate, they'll have been in a similar situation at a time. So there's still people to talk to. There is loads of people to talk to. It doesn't have to be the wife, it doesn't have to be the husband, you know, it doesn't have to be the boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, the brother or sister, mum and dad. But there's people out there to talk to. There's loads of professionals to talk to, who are good, you know, and good at what they do. And, you know, one counsellor isn't the same as all counsellors. Always remember that. You know, you could go to one counsellor and not work, go and try a different one, that might work. You know, I done counselling a couple of times over the years, and I've been this, you know, one doll, I'm like, fuck is this doll, like, why is she even, this is just shit. And then I went to a fella, and he was actually really good, and a lot of his stuff I still use until today. You know, he was brilliant. And you know, I've seen that with other people. They're going to a counsellor and go, I don't think I'm getting fuck all out of this. And I'm like, how long have you been with that person for? About 8 weeks now. Well, fucking change to somebody else. You know what I mean? If you were paying a PT and you were 2 months in and you had no results, you wouldn't still be going to your fucking PT. You go to a different one. You know what I mean? And like every counsellors are all trained, but they've also got all different personalities. And you need to find somebody who's with personality that's going to match for you. Simple as that. So, yeah, to sum up this video and what it was about, as I say, overcoming your depression is achievable for everyone, but there is a difference between overcoming it and curing it, and that's something you need to accept from the start. I think, you know, you need to look at things and go, right, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get healthier, I'm going to get happier, and I'm going to learn how to control this. Because if you go into it in the mindset that I need to get my depression cured, you're always waiting to be 100% A-okay. And I haven't always seen that. I've seen it in some people, yeah, who walk around the top of the world and they believe they've cured it. But, you know, I've also seen them people have bad weeks too, where they don't feel that they've cured it. And like, I'm not saying that, you know, when I say about curing it, you know, what I mean about that is, you know, to turn around one day and feel that it's just disappeared, you know, that's what I would see as being a cure. You know, one day somebody's going to say to you, hey girl, hey guy, that's it, depression's gone, it's all clear now, you don't need to worry about it anymore. You know, that's sadly that's never going to happen. But, you know, through your journey of getting healthier and getting better, you'll learn all the tools that will come with stopping it, coming back again. All these tools you can use, all these tools you can look out for, and you'll be able to use them in the future to deal with, you know, if it ever arose again. You'd be more well equipped, is what I mean. And as I say, that's why I wanted to share a wee bit of, you know, as I say, I've had a rough couple of weeks, and I wanted to share that because I feel that I need to share bad times as well as good times with my followers. There's a lot of you guys are on here looking to help with your mental health, and it's important that you see both sides. You can see a happier lifestyle that I'm living now coming through the darkest of times, but you also need to see that it's not like that every day. I wish it was, but it's far from it. There's more good than bad, which is the main thing. But as I say, now for me, you know, I know when I'm sailing into a storm, but I also know that you'll come through the other side of it. And the thing about it was, years ago you didn't see the other side. Now I know the other side's there, and I know how to get through it. I know how to stay strong. And these are all things, if you're going through your own battle, that you learn and you become stronger and stronger and stronger. It doesn't just happen overnight, but it will happen. So, as I say, over the next couple of weeks, guys, I'm going to fire up a lot more videos on celebration of Mental Health and Awareness Week in May. I'm also doing a few talks that week too, which I'm really looking forward to. And for the meantime, guys, share the page, share the video. Let's try and get my subscribers up a wee bit more. So if you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe. And if you have any topics for videos, I'm going to do a video on anxiety, mental health and LGBT, bullying and the effects of mental health, and mental health in the workplace, are all things, videos that I have coming up soon. But any other topics, guys, you want to hear about, send me a message, get in touch, and I'll try and do it. But subscribe and like the video in the meantime. Take care, and see all you guys soon. Love you loads.